Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Most of us wanted to see David Benavidez in with Canelo on Cinco de Mayo this year. But Benavidez's career has taken a little bit of a left field turn, shall we say. It's been proposed by the WBC that Benavidez, who I think I'm right in saying has never boxed at light heavyweight, fights for their interim light heavyweight title against the former champion, Oleksandr Gvozdyk. Now, this has come out of the blue, at least for me anyway. I have mixed opinions about this. Number one, Gvozdyk is apparently ranked number 2 in the WBC's rankings. I've no idea why. Because he's currently got 20 wins with 16 KOs, 1 defeat by stoppage, which was to Artur Beterbiev, where he lost his WBC title, and no draws. Excuse me. But he lost to Beterbiev in 2019. Got stopped in 10 rounds, or knocked out in 10 rounds. I think he was stopped. He might have actually quit, set out the count. I don't know. Anyway, he's come back with 3 wins over modest opposition. I know Ricard Bolotniks, who's a sort of decent European level operator. Gvozdyk stopped him in 6. It was last seen knocking out a guy called Isaac Rodriguez in 2 rounds. And there was another guy, a journeyman, who he won a 6-round decision over. But all 3 of those were in 2023. Now, suddenly this puts him, according to the WBC, at number 2 in their rankings. I don't know how they worked that out. Okay, he's a former champ, but he had 3.5 years out of the ring. He actually announced his retirement, and then he decided he wants to come back. He's 36 now, 36-year-old light heavyweight, having had 3.5 years out. I mean, he's 6'2". He's okay for the weight. He's quite big dimensions-wise for the weight. But then you've got Benavidez. Like I say, never fought at light heavyweight. Coming off that 6-round retirement win over Demetrius Andrade, who was previously undefeated. Andrade has fought down at 154. Didn't really belong at 168, in my opinion. Benavidez suddenly, I mean, he's had good wins. You know, he outpointed Caleb Plant. I think, did he have him on the floor at one point? I think he did. Smashed up the remnants of David Lemieux, who retired afterwards. And then it's people like, Ronald Ellis, Cairo Davis, sort of C-level fighters, C+ maybe. Anthony Direlli knocked him out about 5 years ago in 9 rounds, was it? I mean, he hasn't fought anyone. He hasn't fought any monsters between middleweight and super middleweight. And now suddenly he's in for a WBC interim belt at light heavy with a former champion. Now, look, I'm nothing against Benavidez. He's a good fighter. And if I had my way, he'd be in with Canelo at 168. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Now, when I said I had mixed feelings, I mean, I'm critical of the matchup, yes. But there's one thing I do like, and that is that Benavidez has said, look, I'm not waiting around for Canelo. I'm not interested in just, twiddling my thumbs and having a few, treading water fights. I'm going to create my own path to a title. And it's not his fault that the WBC have said, yeah, come over here and fight for our 175 title, even though you've never fought a 175 before. Have an interim belt, you can fight one of our former champs and blah-de-blah, which is essentially a final eliminator, because if you win the interim belt, you're supposed to fight the real champion, who is Beterbiev. And it's possible that Benavidez, he's 27 now, he's a growing lad, probably still make 168, but maybe 175 is going to be his final weight, his stop-off weight. To jump in with Gvozdyk, I think Gvozdyk's seen much better days. If he beats Benavidez, he'll be back in the mix, but my first impression is that Benavidez would have too much for Gvozdyk. Gvozdyk can box, because Gvozdyk is a good fighter. If you look at the Beterbiev fight, even though he got knocked out eventually, he was doing a lot of good things in that fight. Now, admittedly, you got the impression Beterbiev was the guy, even when he was losing some of the rounds, he was kind of in control of the fight, because he was making Gvozdyk fight a pressurized fight, fire punches back when he didn't necessarily want to. The pressure that Beterbiev was putting on Gvozdyk, you thought in the later rounds, it's going to pay dividends. Sure enough, it did. But don't make any mistake, Gvozdyk was a good champ. Knocked out Adonis Stevenson for the belt. he's a good fighter, very, very good fighter. And if he's got, I don't know, if he can get together 80% of what he was, he'll give Benavidez some problems. I mean, I lean towards Benavidez on freshness, but yeah, I wouldn't rule out Gvozdyk. Don't get me wrong. I think don't sleep on this guy. Don't sleep on this guy. But anyway, getting back to Benavidez, I think it's good that he's kind of taken a different road. You know, because there are fighters in the past. I mean, the one that springs to mind is Amir Khan, who waited to fight either Mayweather or Pacquiao. And then he ended up jumping up and taking on Canelo, when, of course, we all know he got flattened. Then he was still wanting Mayweather. He was still wanting Pacquiao. He kind of put his career almost on hold while he was waiting for the big names. At least Benavidez isn't doing that. At least Benavidez is saying, okay, you know, the Canelo thing probably won't happen. Doesn't look like he really wants it. I'll go over here instead. That I like. I mean, this is, you know, and again, I repeat, this is not an anti-David Benavidez video at all. I like the guy. But if someone puts something on a platter and says, do you want this? He says, thank you very much. You know, 175, yeah, why not? I'll give it a go, you know, yeah. You know, so, yeah. Does he deserve to be in any kind of title fight, even an interim fight at 175? No. And to be honest, you can make an argument Gvozdyk doesn't, because he was 3.5 years out, 3 modest wins. Suddenly he's ranked number 2. No. I mean, Benavidez, I think, does hold the interim super-middleweight belt. So I don't know if there's a rule. With the WBC, you never know about their damn rules, because they seem to make it up as they go along. But it may get him a shot at an interim belt at a higher weight. They might have a rule like that. I don't know. I can't even be asked to look, because the WBC, all these ruling bodies, this alphabet soup stuff, drives me absolutely insane trying to follow it. And they seem to make exemptions for their own rules anyway, frequently. So anyway, what do you think of Benavidez versus Gvozdyk? Is it a fight you'd look forward to? Do you agree with it? Do you think it's a decent matchup? Do you think Gvozdyk's got something left, or he's past it? What do you think about Benavidez at 175? Leave all your comments below. As always, I will answer as many as I can. I'll certainly read all of them. Rest assured, if I don't get a chance to answer your comment, I do read it. I read all the comments that are left. Honestly, I do. And yeah, hit the like button. And please, if you're new and you could subscribe, that'd be a big deal too. You'd help us out a great deal. Spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.